Welcome to this season 2 of Season Day Scholar. Today we have with us Professor Futoshi Kurisu, who has been the graduate of the University of Tokyo and as well as faculty at the University of Tokyo. He is known for his work on microbial community analysis in a thermophilic aerobic wastewater treatment process. Mainly, he works for Research Center for Water Environment Technology since 2000. So just now, 2 decades plus 2 years has been completed in his journey. His major research area, like I said, has been the microbial world, but some of the outstanding work that he has done is on ammonia oxidizing bacteria, estrogen degrading bacteria, and as well as diffuse pollution in my PhD. Actually, the Professor Kurisu is my PhD supervisor as well, and I have been following him to 8 years. At this, or I have been requesting him to come over this program for last 2 years. Also, since I started it, but finally we are here on the eve of my son's birthday, 15th birthday. So he was almost a gift of Japan in some sense. So welcome to Daso Sensei.
Thank you very much for this invitation. I'm very happy to talk with you. Actually, yes, it's been probably more than a year, I think. Oh, more than 2-3 years, I guess, since we talked.
Yeah,
yes. Thanks for this invitation. Yes.
Yes. So before we go about in your childhood, I just want to inform you that this is 3 parts of the conversation. The first part is about your childhood and your everything as a student. So until graduation. And then from there we take the part 2 will be from graduation to your faculty journey as of today. And there we will seek your advice for our new faculty or academician or researchers, what they should do. And we will talk about publications and projects and milestones, frustrations of the life, achievements of the life. And then finally, we will get to know you more in terms of in rapid fire. So let's go ahead with your setting. Where did you born? How was your family setting? And so on and so forth.
Okay. So I was born in a city called Hiroshima. Maybe most of you have heard about the name of the city because it's a famous city for a bomb, which was taken place in 1945. I was born there in 1971, so maybe 30 years later, or 20-something years later of that. Because my mother was living there and before her marriage, and that's why she gave my birth there. And also my mother's families were there and running a kind of how to say kind of factory that produced kind of wooden furnitures, I should say. Yes, furnitures. So that's why I was born there. And basically, I was grown up a city 40 kilometers from Hiroshima, which is called Iwakuni. Iwakuni is a small town. It's just around 100,000 population, 100,000. But it's a bit famous in Japan because there is a kind of United States military base. Basically, in most strictly saying, it's a Marine Corps base or there in the city. So that's a very good chance for me actually to expose myself to those different culture, even I'm living in really just living in Japan. So I had a friend there when I was elementary school kids, because I was in a kind of a baseball team in the US Marine Corps, which is kind of baseball team. It's kind of friendship baseball team between American and also Japanese. So just half and half the kind of teams to do baseball. So that was a very nice chance for me to communicate with those people there. So, and I was enjoying those environment too. That's the kind of thing. And yes.
Yes. So, do you remember that how you were you a curious child since beginning, or can you see now that yeah, I was supposed to be a researcher?
No.
So how was he? How was he, how was you? How were you as a child?
Actually,
Very
yes.
good in studies.
Yeah, as you told me that I was curious for so many things, different kind of things. So I don't have any, actually, frankly speaking, I don't have any dream what to be at that time. So because one of the reasons is that I want to be so many different kind of things. You know, one of that is a kind of sumo wrestler. My dream.
For that, you are very thin.
Yes, yes, unfortunately. Yes, that was a kind of dream when I was 8, 9, 10 years old boy. And also I want to be a kind of prime minister, maybe, of a country,
Wow.
kind of. So I have so many dreams at that time. And actually, when I was those small kids, the water environment actually was not very good in my town. It was
Oh.
around 1980s, so it's pretty much different from the environment now in Japan. So yes, not very good wastewater treatment there in my hometown. So the most of that gray water is just discharged to the canals, and those are pretty much contaminated. So that was a kind of first impression of the environment, and I want also have a kind of idea to how to tackle with this when I was maybe yes elementary school, because I was in the kind of very dirty canals, and I was taking the fish and those in the very dirty canals. So that was my childhood. So, yes, that's kind of one thing. Yes.
Very much. I mean, you know that what is special in your reply is that you remember those dreams. So still you remember that. Okay, I wanted to become a sumo wrestler and the prime minister, and this is so natural. Of course, I probably I don't remember, or I would not say that I wanted to become a prime minister, but yeah, we generally, if we see somebody very, but I feel that this is very natural. So, I mean, first place, why did you choose science or engineering to go through? And how did you get that Todai seat, Tokyo Daigaku seat?
そうだね. And okay, so probably when I was elementary kids, I mean around 10 years old, boy, I was actually interested in a kind of science and those things. For instance, like one of my relatives had a license of amateur radio. Yes, and I was also interested in that and took the license too when I was 10 years maybe old. So I had a kind of my own transceiver and to talk with some people, person in Japan, and also in
So it means you are
abroad.
talking about walkie-talkie.
I don't know how to call it in yes. So I just kind of
mid-range connector, like army. Some people army have.
Mid-range. Yeah. That's yes. Actually, yes. The how to say the
Transmitter.
Transmitter, yes, which can be communicated with those living in not only in the country but also outside the country, like Australia and those who are living in India and those.
So just you have to match the frequency, or how did you?
Yes. Actually, yes. Amateur radio is a kind of things, the kind of band of frequencies. So at any frequency you can choose which is vacant, and then call for the other person who are available. Just actually, just internationally, you can say that CQ. CQ is a kind of a words to call somebody who wants to talk with me. Just let me know and those things.
So you can just say hello. Anybody there?
Yes.
Somebody will reply.
Yes, that's what we do there.
So I only saw in movies, apocalypse movie, that where something has happened, all world is gone, and then somebody tried to contact, is there anybody else? Yes.
That was kind of interesting hobby, actually. And nowadays it's not so much, funny, because we have a kind of a mobile phone.
We have the mobile.
It's not like that. So, but in 1980, so yes, advertised 1980 something. Yes. This is the only thing we can communicate via such tools, and it was quite nice, interesting. And then to get the license, we need to study. I mean, to learn some basic electronics, electronics, I should say. Yeah.
Yes.
And those things I was interested in, and that's a kind of one kind of entrance to those directions for the science. And that's why I chose the field of science. But I studied mostly biological science in my junior high and high school. And yes, I was also a bit interested in the literature when I was until the junior high, but since maybe high school, when time we need to choose which direction we should go, literature or science, then it was quite natural for me to choose, science, because such kind of background. Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, you have explained very nicely that why science or engineering, and the connection of why that inclination was so. So it seems you know yourself very well. But here, what I can see from your CV, that you have BE, a bachelor's, master, PhD, all through the Tokyo University. And I know that the University of Tokyo has a big stature in Japan, and not many students can get there. But you have got all 3 degrees. I have seen that some of the, like in IITs, doing PhD from IIT is easier than the master, and doing bachelor's is pretty difficult. How did you go straight away to the Tokyo University from Hiroshima and be there forever?
I don't know either, though. But yes, when I was the 5th grade and 6th grade, when to choose which junior high school I should go. And that time I decided to take an exam for the private school for junior high, which is one of the best junior high school in Hiroshima, the city, which is a missionary school. Yes, made by Catholic Christian. So the missionary school, and then I successfully entered that junior high and high school. For 6 years, I spent there, which is very nice school, and I don't need any special other things to learn, but other than the school, to to learn some basics to which is necessary to enter that University of Tokyo, I think. Yes.
No, so you are saying that your school were a top class school, and because you got into there, so somehow you have nothing to do except study, and that's why you happened to crack Tokyo University exam. They must be taking some entrance for bachelor.
Somewhat. What'd you say?
Tokyo University must be conducting some entrance.
Entrance exam, yes. Entrance exam, yes.
So can you tell me little about that entrance, or when
entrance exam?
You got the news? How did you feel? And how was your first thing at Tokyo University?
Okay,
if you remember.
Yeah. I remember the time. Yes. Yes. I mean, for the entrance exam, of course, I prepare a lot, actually, very frankly speaking, for that. Of course, though, when I was a high school student, I also have very many curiosity about the other kind of things, like, the playing soccer and those others. But still, my family is not very wealthy, so it's not very, how to say, we don't have any much money, so we don't have any money to pay other than that the school. So that's why I think it's necessary for me to go to the private and a public school. I mean, like University of Tokyo is one of the national
government one. Yeah.
Government, yes. We don't have any money for the private university. That's why I need to pass some of the government school. And then when I got the take exam and when I get to know that result, and of course I was very happy with that, and also I remember that at night I just go to find some friends there to go to pub actually until the morning. So I was very enjoying that very nice result of that. So that's what I remember when I got passed.
Yeah. How did you feel on your first day or first few days? Who were the professor? What impressed you the most in your initial days?
It's a kind of shame, but after I just got the undergrad, I mean the University of Tokyo, I didn't study a lot. Actually, I just actually during the time it's 1990s, and most of that university student in Japan is not so much good. Actually, not so much, how do you say, diligent to learn, study. Not so much, they don't study hard so much, actually, most of them. And I was actually one of such a student. So during my freshman and those sophomore, first 2 years at least, I was taking just only a half of the classes, and the other half is just I skipped. Actually, I didn't go to the campus so often, and I just studying at the kind of a minimum level to get to the next.
To get the next step or pass the exam.
Yeah, pass the exam.
Even your better half, you must have met her at the University of Tokyo. So that is so Tokyo University has been your life. I mean, you were BTech. Didn't you get bored being at Tokyo University?
Yes and no, actually, yes.
Yes.
Actually, the university is so big than I first expected. There are so many new things, so many different things that still I haven't explored all. I just know only just a small part of that. So there are so many different fields and so many different type of person and professors too, which if I have time, more time, and I want to explore. So that's why in that sense, yes, it's not kind of.
So in 2 years, or probably you have already completed 30 years at the campus, because 1994 you completed the
Yes.
bachelor, so must be joined around 1991, and so now 22, so it is already 30 plus years in the campus.
Yeah.
If somebody will tell you that tell something, some legend about Tokyo University, what you will say? Some signatures.
Difficult. Legend. Signature. What's that?
Anything that you say that yes, this separates Tokyo University. This has been for me is the identity or culture, or that this way we are different. Something like that.
難しいな。どうだろう。Of course, it's just one of the university. Are they the same as the other university? That's the basics. But if I have to tell something, at least there's some graduate, especially the graduate from undergrad, maybe the graduate from that university, don't want to get together so much. They want to be more independent than the others. If you compare some other graduates from other university, at least in Japan, right? In Japan, I just compare with the other graduate from Japanese university. Yes, the other university graduate may want to get together more to have a kind of a community of that.
Yeah, community. Yes.
But the graduate from University of Tokyo basically don't like such. They want to be.
Why?
I don't know, but maybe they are too proud of themselves, maybe. Than getting together and to show, okay, we are the kind of community of UT graduates. They don't like such kind of action. But the other university graduate likes that kind of things way more than our graduate. That's somewhat, I feel, a bit different from the other universities.
Yes. And I can tell you that when you were thinking, I thought he is trying to dig into some zone, which I am sorry to force you to dig that, but I can tell you brought gold after the digging. This is a very important point, and very new for me. I didn't know that you will come up with such a new thing. That alumni structure in many institutes is like they want it to be alive, they want it to be active, and many alumni groups are themselves wants to work together. And you are saying that it is not Japanese culture, but it is about the University of Tokyo pass out graduates who don't often want to have that kind of alumni grouping and like that. And the reason you said that maybe they are very proud of themselves. So you met your better half. Let me talk a little bit about yes, your better half, and when did you meet her?
The first time I met her was when my graduate time, undergraduate time. Yes, when I was fourth year. Yes, the senior student. Yes, because she was 1 year junior to me.
So we are talking about just for my audience. We are talking about Kyo Hasegawa, now Kurisu Sensei. He is also faculty at Tokyo University. In what way you think is that the sensei with the the marriage with the Kyo Sensei being helpful in your research, in your life? Maybe you can speak many good things and she will be happy.
There are many choices, I think, I mean, there are different style for, okay, the very different style for each different how to say, couples. I mean, yes. And so I don't know whether our case is good or not. Of course, I think it's good, but what is good maybe is because she's also a kind of researcher in the university. I mean, the faculty member in the university, so that we can share kind of a personal feeling to be in such position. Though, but on the other hand, we don't discuss much about about the research much. Actually, we don't discuss. We quite seldom discuss that kind of a research, though we have shared a similar kind of. We are in a similar kind of field. Sometimes yes, but we seldom do that. But instead of that, we often share what to do as a kind of faculty member, what to do we need to do in some cases when our students have a kind of difficulty in some problem. Those things we can share our feeling and discuss. That's what the good, at least for us. But of course, even if my wife is somebody different, and then if she has some completely different things, then of course I can also share kind of have a kind of ways to be a kind of better family and couple. But I don't know, at least at this moment, I think it's very nice for us so that we can, yes, talk about that.
Let me go to your PhD now. That who was your PhD supervisor? How did you choose your PhD topic and research area? And why you thought to go for PhD at the first place? Because you were the good student and everything. But I know that after master, you could have get a good job and finish.
Yes, my supervisor was Professor Takashi Mino Takashi. And why I chose him as my supervisor was because at that time he was proposing a kind of a research topic on the biological wastewater treatment process, namely a kind of modification of activated sludge process. When I was last year of undergrad, and I was pretty much interested in the biology when I was high school student, but at the same time, I did not have good chance to learn a lot because at that time, high school teacher told me that it's nice to learn physics and chemistry first before biology. So I didn't have much to go into that. But when I was a university student, I tried to start learning the biology, and also when I choose this environmental engineering field, I pretty much interested in that the microbiology, which was taught by Professor Mino. Actually, that's that's definitely my favorite class, and he gave very nice lecture. So then I wanted to do something like something about the biological. And also, when I was a kid, and I saw that my environment was not very good. Actually, that water environment is not very good. So that's why I had an idea to find a way to clean up such dirty environment. So that's why it's matched with my interest. So wastewater treatment is one of the things I was very much interested in. So that's why I chose that field. And when I was undergrad, last year in undergrad, I was doing a kind of how do you say, university ballroom dance club. I was there and I spent a lot of time there. So I didn't learn so much, spend so much about time for the study. So that's why, but after that, after joining the master course, and I was very much how do you say? I spent a lot of time for the research work because I very enjoyed the lab work to develop a kind of a new wastewater treatment process, which is a thermophilic process. And then after finishing the first year of master's, we need to choose whether to continue that or we need to stop and go for any other job. And at that time, I consider myself very, very deeply, and I spend a lot of time to choose direction to go. At that time, that's a kind of a turning point, actually a very important point for me, whether to choose which direction I should go. And I was thinking about getting a job in a kind of company of working on the environmental engineering, those company. But at that time, I think it's better for me to go to more, how do you say, pure environmental, how do you say things? I mean, I need, if I thought that if I go to get some job and I need to do something the company asked me to do or the company has to do, but I wanted to do something I really want to do by myself. I just want to choose by myself what to do. I was a bit kind of like that. So that's why it's good to pursue PhD. Then I can do whatever I want to do. So that's the reason why I finally choose this direction. Yes.
Topic, supervisor, everything you have told. How about how much time did you take to choose to go for PhD? You said that you thought a lot. So did you take a break from study and then think, or just on the way you just thought?
Yeah. No, actually, yes, I don't have time to stop and do because, yeah, one of the reasons that I don't have much money to study in master and PhD too. So I was taking the scholarships, but still that was not enough. So I don't have. If I stop my study, then the scholarship will stop. So I need to do in parallel. So, but yes.
So here I just wanted to know because do you think having no money helped you to become what you are today?
Maybe yes. Yes, I just can say yes. It's probably yes. If I had more money, I mean, if my family support a lot to me, then I had a lot more option. I mean, to have a kind of a 1-year break and maybe go some abroad, travel abroad to find something new. That's what I wanted to I really wanted to do at that time, but I couldn't do that because I don't have money. I just had money, I just having kind of part-time job a lot and then to live, actually.
But at the very first place, let's suppose we are talking about after your graduation, but even during your childhood, probably you would have not studied that hard if you were having, I mean, much money.
So what do you mean?
You said because during high school also, you wanted to go into the particular school, which is high school, and but fees are not so high, not private one. So in a way, you having, I mean, you grown up in a kind of the money scarce environment helped you to adopt and that's why you wanted to go for a public university. So you found Tokyo University, and so you always studied hard. That probably this is the only route to get out of it.
どうかな? I don't know, but maybe yes. But yeah, but though I
this is I am asking because of those student or the audience which might be there, which might be there. I have seen, my personal take is that once you are educated until let's suppose college 10 or 10 plus 2, stopping is your choice, because you are educated enough to educate other and support your study. And sometimes adversity makes us stronger. So like bacteria, we adapt, like microbes. If difficult situation, like thermophilic bacteria. So if there is a difficult situation, we adapt to that, and we become stronger. So in that perspective, I would ask you that to shed some light. That has that happened to you?
Probably yes, I should say. But at that time, I didn't think it's very hard situation, but it's a kind of something I have to enjoy, though it's a kind of difficult, because yeah, for instance, like when I was a master course student, every time I go to the part-time job till afternoon, I think from the morning to the afternoon, and then after that I went to the lab to do some experiment until midnight, and I come back to my room and those things. But it's of course hard, but it's something I can enjoy. So that's what I enjoyed it. And of course, that's maybe a kind of those life during spending such a life, I miss many things, of course. If I had more leisure time, then I can do something else, but still something. Anyway, I enjoyed it, so that's nothing more than that.
From PhD to getting faculty aspect after submission and getting a joining letter has been a little bit a scary moment. How it went with you?
Very frankly speaking, maybe I was in the kind of how do you say good time when I finished the PhD, because at that time there is probably a kind of one just good vacant position there. Just luckily, maybe I didn't know actually why and how it how I could join that position, but at that time, just before I finished my PhD, when I was actually, I believe when I was writing my the thesis at the end of my course, supervisor Prof Mino told me that just ask me what do you want I want to do, and I was saying that at the end of the day, I just possibly I could find some position in university. And that's what I told him. And then, okay, then he told me that, okay, just wait a bit more, and there may be a kind of a chance for that. That's what he told. And after that, I didn't do anything. And that was actually that's all for my story.
So let's reflect back that what are the milestones so far, if you would say, take a just full look at your life. Of course, I know becoming father. I know you promoted to associate professor. That time I was there, and the junior Kurisu has been a long wait, so that was also made it very special. But professionally, what are the few milestones of your career, and yeah, as an individual?
What's milestone? Yes. Probably. Yeah. If you talk about the kind of my turning point as my professional experience, the time when how do you say, my boss was changed was quite a big turning point. After I got PhD under Professor Mino, I was under the other professor for 1 year, Professor Matsuo. And then after that, he retired just for his age. And then I was with another professor, Professor Yagi, for 6 years. And he was completely different type of boss, different, doing research completely different way. And after that, again, Prof. Yagi retired. And then year 2006, I joined Furumai Sensei's group. I mean, my boss became Furumai Sensei, Prof. Furumai. And he was also completely different person, of course, and different style. So that change was at least very big for me to adapt, or to not just adapt. Adapt is not very good meaning, I think. Just to start learning new things. Yes. That's
In
very
2006.
different. Yes,
Yeah.
2006. Yes.
So probably when I went there in April 2006, you just had joined Prumaken.
Yes.
Yes. So probably
Actually,
you are
that's the
talking.
year when I got married. Actually, the same year.
Oh, so 2006 being a milestone and turning points. You are well. I will go ahead. Describe your teaching experience. How do you feel about teaching? What is your teaching philosophy?
Teaching. Yes. My basic idea is to teach. How do you say? Not only just the knowledge, but also the way of thinking. How to to understand those all the related things. That's I really wanted to tell the students, not just knowledge. But mostly I was teaching the microbiology in my university, and also I'm also having class in other university too. Basically, microbiology is a kind of subject that I need to tell. I mean, the knowledge, just the name of those and that. So that was something I always trying find a bit difficult to combine these two things together. That's yes.
And I mean, do you still need some time for before going to the class or giving to the lecture? How do you deal with the last student with the student who is the least interested in your lecture? So how do you deal with them?
So but something good in teaching this University of Tokyo, is that we don't have to take so much care of such student. If the students are not interested in my topic, and then just simply ignore such student.
Yeah, they can.
That's what we can do. But if you go to a private university, we need to take much more about such students. Actually, I'm having a class, one of the private university now, and they really ask me to, yes, to stimulate such kind of student too. Yes.
And what is your thumb rule for guiding PhD candidates or a master candidates? How do you approach to guide a PhD student?
Basically, I don't want to teach everything to the students, but instead I want students to show some hints and also to let the student consider more. That's my policy basically. But at the same time, my senior professors, not primary sensei, but the other senior professors, always told me that it's all depends on the students. So it's something more important is to observe the students more first and fine tune or to adjust for the students how we should teach. For some student really needs a kind of a direct guide and very detailed instruction. Some do not at all. So it's all depending on the students. That's what I also think is important now. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Well, do you help? Okay. What is the difference between guiding a master a student and PhD student?
At least as a concept, actually, for PhD student, at the end of the day, I want to be the PhD students to how do you say, to do better than myself, to know better than myself. That's what I really expect the students, PhD students, at least in his or her very special domain. Yes. But for master student, I don't really want that such quality. Of course, that's a complete difference between these two. And yes.
Yeah, I remember for my sensei used to say, the day you will defeat me on this, I will give you the graduation. So yes, in a way, because this is your PhD, not my PhD. You are doing PhD on this topic, so you at least have to know more than me. And with a signal that I do know a lot. So that is there. Well, let's go to the part B. This is part B, troubleshooting lesson and philosophy. Here you can be as much as preachy or advicey as you like. Because so I will ask you your questions, but you can advise as you like. So let me start with this. What should be the art of living for an academician? How to have the work-life balance, how to beat the competition.
So, actually, myself, well, of course, nobody wants to to be in the field like this kind of competitive. If it is competitive, nobody like that, right? And I don't like that either. Maybe so. That's why, But recently, of course, even in Japan, Japan is not so much competitive in other countries, but in the academic field. But still, there are more and more competition there in the sense that they needs to get some hours and some funds and those, and to have enough achievement to find some better positions. That's in a sense natural, but still I believe that it's not all for this life. And of course, at least you need some, of course, achievement. Yes, of course, yes. If there's nothing, of course, it's nothing. So, but it's not very ideal to compare just by the achievement to find a new, better positions. At least people should know more about and judge more about this value of that research, and they have some they need to discuss about that more not just by comparing the numbers, values, and figures, I should say.
So, I mean, the originally that I intend to know is that how to have the life-work balance, how to have what should be the art of living for an academician, how much they should get soaked to. So art of living means how to avoid the pressure or how to still do the minimum that is required. So
それはね、難しいよ。It's very difficult.
yeah,
But
I
of course, we
know.
have the freedom to do that, choose our time. I mean, sometimes, of course, although.
So basically, what I intended to know is that from your perspective, that, well, we don't need to remain so much neck to neck, so much like recently I applied for 3-4 funding agencies, responded to several calls for that. And after certain time, you feel very tired. How to have the content, how to have the work-life balance, something like that I wanted to know. Because I always found you very calm and it seems like you know your space. That this much I know, this much I need, this much I will do. So that's why this question is propping up.
難しいよね。難しいよ。It's very difficult. Yes. Butそうね。Anyway, so of course there's many things I don't like so much. But still I need to do. So and then I try to enjoy such work, and still I cannot enjoy it, then I don't do it. So I skip doing that. Of course, yes, I think I need to try to enjoy something which is at the beginning, which is not very much fancy for me. So then even after that such trial, still it's not enjoyable, then I will not do that, even if somebody needs me to do that still. That's a kind of basic idea, how to choose things I should do and I cannot do. And after that, and yes, that's also including my private life too. Of course, to enjoy to some time with my family, of course, I need enough time for that. And then just compare which is more important to do this, which I can enjoy, then of course I can do it, even if I have to sacrifice some time with my family. But if I cannot enjoy much, then it's not the things to do. And another tips my professors, actually Professor Mino probably told me, is that something very important is to fix my time for the private life first. If there's some kind of something we need to do privately, then first just fix that schedule first. Then don't move that. Then after that you can manage your time if there's not a specific schedule there. So in that sense, the more important thing is to first fix my private schedule. Then after that we can
go for
do something else.
So what do you think is that how many publications should be enough for a academy, for a faculty per year?
I don't know. Just tell me. I also, of course, it all depends on the field too. Yes.
Yeah. Actually, I would say is that when I went to the Korea, my first postdoc, so there I asked it very straight away that how much paper do you expect every year from yourself. Professor Kang Joo Kim, he has a big team, and he was doing reasonably very good work in the field of arsenic and groundwater chemistry and hydrogeochemistry. And he said, look, I want to write 4 good papers per year. And that is enough satisfying for me. But those 4 paper, it means every paper he will give around 3 months, but that 3 months is not the all. Because data and monitoring, you know, the field monitoring takes a lot of time, monsoon, pre-monsoon, post-monsoon, 2 years sampling, but 3 years, 3 months time to just write and feel it. So 4 paper per year. I have seen that the 4 to 6 or 8, and that has been my also goal for a quite long time. But then, of course, in now, probably the context or maybe the rapid, because of the online and everything, might be changing. But in Japan, still I feel that people are, go after quality. And for them, there is a rational number which is around this. So just I wanted to know what is the fact or your take?
Yeah, actually, very frankly speaking, I never thought about the number of publication I have to publish per year. But of course, always think as many as possible. That's always I'm always thinking about that. I didn't put some goal, and yeah, something so far, as long as I have experienced, probably it's not possible for me to publish more than 20 maybe a year. That's what I learned. But of course, 1 is not enough per year. Just in between that, but I didn't put any target number.
Actually, I want to let people understand that when as a student, many people think calculate it very funny way. The point is that when we start, it is we as the first author. So we hardly can publish say 1 year per 1 paper per year during our PhD days. Then we keep on doing in postdocs. We get involved in several work of our guide and those things. So then 3 or 4, and then gradually our team increases. And then it's if somebody is heading 20 people team, and even 1 people writes 1 paper, it becomes 20 people, right? It's yes, that person has been guiding, showing the path to all those travelers. So how do you target the journal? How you think that this paper can go there or here? And how do you ask your student to bear the rejection?
I of course would like to learn such things, but basically, at least at this moment, I think how much clear you can explain about how much how do you say, how strong your logic in this paper and how new it was, and there's a kind of product of these two. I mean, this how new and how strong your logic is. So if both of two are very good, I mean, very new and very strong, and of course you can target it in a good journal. Yes, but that's not always the case. So we need to just judge these two.
So you want to wait for like club 2-3 information and write a very high impact journal, or it is otherwise that okay, if there is a story, don't need to wait and publish it even if it is little less impact.
It's very again, it's very difficult to judge. I mean, which way it should go. So we also consider that how do you say, the speed of the publication in that field too, right? Yeah. If that field is rapidly growing, then we need to publish as early as possible, even if the the data amount of data is not so much enough. But if not, then yes, it's also nice to get enough data and to target to the better, I mean the high impact journal. Yes. So
how do you look in a CV or person before saying yes for the PhD position or higher?
You mean to hire a postdoc, for instance?
Hire a postdoc or hire a PhD student?
PhD student. 難しいね。But 難しいんじゃないそれは。For a PhD student, at least, even for a PhD student, at least you need to have strong background that for which he or she are proposing. At least, basically, I spend enough time to read their proposal first. Proposal for PhD. Though, of course, those who are trying to pursue PhD do not have enough skills to write, have enough background to write all the very nice proposal, but still, those proposals should be logic and should be based on their background, should be based on their literature review, very important research. I mean, not just literature review also should be very strongly supported by their background experience. So that's what I always, yes.
So, I mean, let's suppose one CV arrives. Would you like to count the number of papers or from where they have graduated, or you want to see, you want to meet and see that how is the nature? What are the things are important and for you?
For PhD student.
And how to check creative writing capability?
そうね。PhD student, basically, I mean that those who want to pursue PhD, I think, do not have so many publications. It's not really necessary to publish a lot of number of papers. Of course, it's nice if you have many, but I don't think it's essential things to do. But at least he or she should have one publication together, even if that's a kind of co-authors, he or she is in the co-authors. But for those who wants to pursue PhD, needs to have a kind of experience to involving such a publication at least once. Of course, it's very nice if he or she has one publication with as a first author. That's enough, at least for me, or to judge whether he or she have some good experience for such a research experience. That is necessary.
But what about postdoc?
For postdoc, even for postdoc, if he or she has one very good paper as a first author, sometimes it is already enough for me to judge whether he or she has a good. Of course, for those person, I need a kind of some more information to support whether she or she is good person for my PhD, the postdoc. But so in that sense, I don't require many publication even for a postdoc, my postdoc. But at least, of course, kind of if he or she has, at least for a postdoc, at least I require at least one journal paper, which is very, how do you say?
It will tell his or her expertise as well as the level. What is your advice to someone who is still to decide whether he or she should go for PhD.
So what you say for advice for that, for those? Or?
Yeah, I mean, there are three people, and
Oh.
you have to advise. One people who is deciding and thinking, I should do PhD or not. Second, who is facing the problem in their PhD, during the PhD. And the third, who wants to like finish, who has finished it and wants to go for becoming a academician. So what you will be your advices for these three guys or individuals?
You mean that you are asking me about that advice for them, or?
Yeah, your advice to them. One, you met Mr. X or Miss Y, and she wants to ask, she is deciding whether they should do PhD or not. What will be your advice?
So
like how can you help them
Mm.
to make the decision? Some of the answer to this question from my guest has been that one person told that I will tell them or ask them that if you want to go to this field for money, don't go in this field. Somebody said that if you really enjoy reading and writing, only then you go. These kind of answers were there.
Yes.
Or probably we can say, don't go.
Just don't go. But of course, as I had a very good experience as a PhD student, at least, and also at the early career of, I don't know whether I think the experience at this moment now is good for me or not, but at least I'm looking back my past, my PhD time, and also maybe 10 years after that was very fun for me. So in that sense, I really basically recommend those who are considering about the pursuing PhD to just do it. But of course, judging from the competitive world after getting PhD, then we need to be a bit more careful about the decision. That's another thing. But thinking that if you think you can enjoy the life, then anyway, just do it. Then think about the things after that. That's something. Of course, if taking PhD is a kind of a tool for you for your life, then I don't recommend him or her to do PhD. But if you enjoy the time when you're doing a PhD or after the PhD, then I can recommend that life very much. Then, of course, it's maybe tough for him or her to live after getting PhD, but still, once if you could enjoy the life in the past, then you can anyway find some new life after that. That's one of it. Yes.
Yes, very reasonable. But how about somebody who is facing problem and thinking to quit PhD,
Okay.
even up to that level? Then what you will advise?
Probably, I would rather
say quit. Don't struggle.
So much.
No, I mean, the point is that PhD has been that way. Sometimes PhD makes you more resilient through those problems. I do remember that I do had share of difficult times, but I cherish them. I know that those moments made me more stronger or more understanding. And it says that bad times teaches you more. I do remember from my sensei always saying, this is a training for making you a stand-alone researcher. So while we are doing PhD, we can say my supervisor is not good or my supervisor is not understanding. But when you become a stand-alone researcher, you will have nobody to blame. And even then you may struggle. You may struggle that, oh, my research is not going. I'm not producing any data, or my data is not making sense. I'm not getting a fund because I'm not putting a right question to the funding agency. So a problem may be there as well. So somebody who is quitting type must not do PhD, of course. So that's why I would say that quit. But otherwise, I would say that this is the part and parcel of the life. This is what you have signed up for. That is why this is a timeless course where we can allow you from 3 to 5 years, even 7 years. Because this is just a training, not a time-bounded course that will finish in 2 years. So what is your take?
Yeah, yes, so both actually, yes, I agree with both points. Yes, so yes, of course, yes, yes. If you are having very hard time at the time, I mean, of course, that's the kind of things if you could overcome it, of course, it's very nice to overcome it. Yes, yes, that's also true. But still, if it is too hard for you to spend such time, then it will come again even after you got PhD. So that's why it's better to judge at earliest time as possible. If you think your life as a PhD student is not enjoyable for you, it's not totally enjoyable for you, then of course it's very nice to find some other direction as early as possible. Because of course you don't know what's the life as a PhD student before you enter PhD. That's why you sign up. I mean, that's why you enter the PhD course. And after 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, anyway, you cannot enjoy the life there. It's too hard for you. Then it's better to choose some other direction at earliest. That's my point. I was saying that it's better to quit. But of course, yes, if it is, although it's very hard for you, and of course it's first, of course you will try to overcome it anyway. I believe because he or she wants judge that okay, I want to take PhD. So anyway, at least they need to try to some extent. But yes, it's there's kind of special value there. Of course, if you cannot find some, or sometimes if you may, even if there's hard time, basically 80% very hard, sometimes 10%, 20%, there's very nice time for you, even if you feel the life is not very good as a PhD student. But sometimes, maybe 10% of your life in a PhD student, there are very nice time for you. Then you may have a kind of a hope to pursue PhD further. Then, of course, I would, of course, encourage those students to try more further. That's yes.
So see how you're speaking. I mean, and that's the advice you always have given during my time as well. And even today, I could see no energy lane after 15 years. Moving to the next, this is how do you move step to step? I mean, how to keep doing good research? And then we will come to the, I have told you, I remember that there was some visitor at Todai, and you presented you made a presentation. First time that was I was witnessing your presentation, because otherwise we as students used to present, you people just listen. But then I realized, oh, that, and I keep saying even today, that day something happened to me. That first time I realized that every students add to a brick to a very big vision of a professor. So now I know that, oh, this was this person has done, this person has done, this person has done, and now the magician is putting it in the context that, look, this has happened, and now I am going this direction. So so how do you follow that, or how do you make that a structure? When you write a proposal, what kind of things you keep in mind? Tell me, let us learn something from you.
Again, different question. But it's not so, how do you say? I don't think, how do you say? It's quite natural for me because I have a kind of dream, maybe, to do this first. I have kind of such kind of dream first, but that's always or often it's very big dream to do this, to understand this, or to overcome this, or to achieve this. That comes first, basically. But to do so, not only just one PhD is basically enough. So you need to break down into the pieces for that, or sometimes it's not very, it's even not very easy to achieve that goal sometimes. But at least I can find some small topics related to that. And sometimes I can only find a kind of, I find a kind of very big goal, but I only make a kind of very, just small pieces in that, which is a kind of so-called lower hanging fruits. How do you call it? Yeah, there's a kind of
that is exactly low hanging fruit.
Low hanging fruit.
It is called as a low hanging fruit.
Hanging fruits, yes. The only such kind of topic can be a PhD topic for each student, or master topics, or either. Then I can propose such small pieces as a kind of topic for each student, or kind of combine these 2 or 3 together for a proposal research funding, maybe. Under my very big dream to do this, for example.
Yeah,
that's how it works.
Great. Do you think research networks are important? And if yes, how to keep it? Because how to make it is one point, but how to keep it is another point.
I don't know. I just want to know it from you.
Why?
Because, of course, if you have a kind of a topic, new topic to collaborate with some other people, then that would be the best, I think. To still keep some network, to find the best person to collaborate with related to the things you want to do in your network, then that would be the best. Anyway, otherwise it's not so much. Of course, sometimes it's very nice to just visit in those if there's no COVID-19 in the future. That would be another choice, but just visit and talk is not so much fun for all, probably.
Yeah.
So,
the problem here is that, of course, I do know that Japanese the societies or the even professors have some people, and they make a relationship for life, or they will not make. So either they will not collaborate, or if they will collaborate, they will keep it for a long time. And so if I put it in the different way, I would say that what you look for or how the this trust grows. And but more difficulty is to keep on meeting expectation over the longer time. Let's suppose that I did my PhD with you and everything, and then if I want like Kursi Sensei, let's apply for this call, and now Kursi Sensei has turned it down for his reason, or which may be true, or which may not be satisfying for me. It happened 1 time, 2 time, 3 time, and then I stopped. That no, I am now more. I should find somebody else rather than him, because he always turned it down. So there is one case. Second case is that I am one person who always hope that, oh, Kursi Sensei wrote with so many people, but he didn't ask me to be on board. So I mean, how to deal with this?
Then just ask you find somebody else to collaborate with. I mean, don't stick to that person so much, because the relationship is something like that. I mean, yes, if both of them are willing to do the same thing, then it will be the fun. But otherwise, it's not be so much fun for either of them. So it's yes. Anyway, for both ends should have some benefit for.
Yeah.
Not
and
only
how to meet the expectation, or how to understand. Sometimes there are some clear expectations. They will tell you, oh, I expected you will invite me. But sometimes people will not tell you. Just they will get away from you because they think their expectation has not met.
But it's not possible to know their expectation. We cannot know their expectation, what is there. So then what we can do is just to forget about that.
Yes.
Otherwise, you need to spend so much time just thinking about why.
Why.
Yeah, that's not
good reply. I am happy with this reply. What is the top 3 topics in your field?
Top 3 topic?
Top 3 challenges, research challenges in your field.
Research challenges. Something I'm doing right now, or it's more?
No, just as a bigger perspective, that what are the 3 challenges, or what is the trend in your domain? Or just what you are doing, that is also fine. Because you are doing which needs to be done. Yes.
So, the biggest challenge should be a kind of link between this is a kind of specific thing though, but the link between the toxicity and the things in the environment. So yes, there's some adverse effect in the environment. There's some aquatic lives, and some maybe human also has facing risk, but we don't know what is the problem. Which compound causing the problem? So those link is one of the biggest challenge, probably related to recent study, my recent field of study. That's
okay. Great. Now this is the last part. Here you can be little informal, being human. But don't think too much. Just when I ask, please reply. What excites you about your work?
What excites me?
Maybe
Anyways,
my sensei, but he is no more there.
But always I get excited when I can find a new relationship in the environment. So, because the environment is so complex, that's why I became a researcher.
Wow. So, loved this answer. Wow. Great. So I would say omedeto for such a beautiful answer. Tell me, what do you like to do when you are not working on research?
I mean, okay. You mean something I want to do with the holiday, for example?
Yeah.
Oh,なんだろうね. I have many hobbies, so yes, some things like go fishing maybe.
Fishing.
Mm.
So let's suppose that you are not going to outing, but just today there is a holiday.
Mm.
What thing you would like to do more? Do like for me, I would watch a movie. And, so something which asks you to please come and do me.
Oh. Mm. For today, I mean, just for today, probably I want to go for snowboarding maybe. If there's no COVID-19 cases.
Okay.
Because of that, I just avoid doing that at this moment, for instance.
How do you handle pressure?
How do you
handle pressure? If there is a lot of work and something deadlines
pressure,
need to be
okay.
met.
But the pressure will only be, I mean, tackled just by doing that job. If there's a lot of job,
That
by
is
doing
one of
that job,
the
just finishing one by one, we can.
no,
Yes.
but so here I'm sorry. This is supposed to be a rapid fire, but I want to know. Yeah. So how you will pick one by one? I mean, you are saying that just do it. Don't get pressurized. But how to arrange it? Little bit more elaboration on this answer. Now I am putting the pressure. So just reply it off.
Oh, so ne. Of course, sometimes yes. As a human being, I mean, I need some time to take some rest before doing that some work. If you are pressurized, yes, I need to have some break. Definitely. Normally, I take just a short break. Even if there's lots of deadlines, still I feel a bit pressurized. Then I take maybe a half-day break off to refresh myself first, and then start doing that. That's one of the things I sometimes do, and bit successful, often successful, but not always though, of course. Yes.
See, if I would have not pressurized you more, this one we would have not known. We want to know in this program, learn the art, how you do, how do you do troubleshooting. That's and learn from there. So it's a kind of reading a book and taking the message by ourselves. So what if things don't work?
What say?
What if things do not work?
Don't work.
I mean, finally you failed. So then.
Just forget about that.
Sweet. You are doing good in this section. You are doing not better, I would say. Your three major strengths.
Three major strengths, we say?
Strengths. Your
strength.
Yeah. P, not one. Otherwise, you will say half.
Strength. Probably, how do you say? Maybe a kind of resilience towards different kind of environment, and adaptation to some, maybe they're similar but a bit different. I can adapt to different environment, and something like positiveness to enjoy whatever life comes. These are kind of three things, probably, I think.
Now, tell it again.
Resilience? Yeah, resilience, and also adaptability.
Adaptability.
The last thing is that the positiveness. I mean, how the things I can enjoy any kind of different difficult environment. That's
so positivity I can understand, but don't you think resilience and adaptability is the same, two sides of the same coin?
It is a very critical point question.
because
yes, I'm saying yes, I'm trying to divine it between the two. Yes, but they're a bit different actually. Yes.
So you have to tell me one more thing.
なんだろうね。
Yeah, I know. Being kind is one. Being always loving and being good. So caring is your unique point. But I don't know whether you consider it your unique point or not.
そうか。I don't know. Maybe yes or maybe no. The last point maybe it's kind of そうかな。
Okay.
Independence maybe being independent. I mean I don't and I'm not so much how to say
emotionally
from other,
or anything dependent on. Yeah, that is a big strength.
I don't know.
That is the strength. Okay, 3 weaknesses.
Weakness.
Yeah.
難しいな。なんだろうね。sometimes I become too emotional. Sometimes it's a kind of opposite than independence, but yes.
We are human beings, and that is the lovely part of it. I also think like I am very independent and a strong person, but I do have a lot of emotional attachment.
そうだね。そうだね。Yes, that's another weak point. And the other is that なんだろうな。何が弱いかな。I don't know. That'sそうね。
That's all.
Yeah. So ne.
Okay. Something you are not good at. You can tell me that way. Something that you are not good at, or you feel awkward doing that. Like I am not good at in reaction. Like if there is my reaction time is little bit too low, or I am not very much like if I am seeing some nonsense, I will react to it. So my reactivity is my problem, and I am not good at it. So what is your?
So ne. To how do you say to なんだろうな。One thing is that how do you say? I'm not good at repeating the same things, maybe.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Repeating the same
sometimes we need to do sometimes we need to do the same thing many times. Ne? But I'm not very good at doing that. I always do something different, so sometimes it's problem.
This is interesting question.
Maybe なんだろうね。One more thing is that そうね。何かな。I'm not good at telling myself.
Telling. But somewhat, I feel that I don't know other people know or not, but I know that you have a good sense of humor, but you do not laugh much openly. But I mean, I don't know. Am I right, or I am just thinking that Professor Kurisu laughs with me only? So in public life also, you don't hesitate to laugh as much as you want, or you are a kind of reserved person?
どうだろう。I'm not, I mean, how do you say? Of course, if I feel laughing, of course, I just want to laugh.
Yeah.
So yes.
Yeah. Okay. Now we are going with very rapid fire. Your most favorite author?
Favorite author of the journal paper, you mean, for instance?
No. Any author? Any favorite author? Poem, novel?
Oh, author in general. Okay. Yes, I
Yeah, author in
author
general.
of something. Okay. So but basically, frankly speaking, I seldom read a kind of no.
Yeah, we don't
I
get
mean,
time.
for the
In fact.
international books, so that's why I don't have any actually. I have some, but all of them in Japanese.
Yeah, Japanese is by the book.
If that's the case, then I like Shusaku Endo, Shusaku Endo. He already died, but yes, he is a kind of yes writer or author of yes books, especially related to based on his background of his Christianity. Actually, I'm not Christian, but my mother is. And though I'm not Christian, but I like very much his deep way of thinking, how to deal with some if you face some problem. He always think based on his religion, though it's Christianity, but I think it's not just tools as in terms of religion, but he's always thinking about very deeply what we need to do based on his knowledge about this his religion, but not based on religion itself. I like that.
Most favorite movie?
Movie. なんだろうな。忘れちゃったな。Again, I don't watch much movie. My wife loves so much, so I was basically watch the movie what my wife likes.
So any even in the childhood, if some movie make a long impression on you?
なんだろうな。そうだね。
Okay, so it means there is no. Your favorite actor?
Actor? 誰？難しいよ。Difficult question because yes.
Okay. What is your favorite food?
Food. I have a lot of favorite food. Yes.
Tell me.
なんだろうね、やっぱり。We always say that if you will die tomorrow, then what's the last dish? That's the kind of a question we have. And if you ask me like that, then I will definitely tell sushi. Sushi is my favorite.
Okay. What is your favorite restaurant or cuisine?
Japanese, basically, yes. I love lots of foods, so definitely different. But if I need to choose one, then Japanese. Yes.
Okay. What is your favorite restaurant?
There's a restaurant called Yamamoto. Yamamoto is a very famous chef. Famous, not so much famous, but he's very, how do you say, diligent chef. And
in Tokyo?
In Tokyo, yes.
Where is his restaurant?
In Tokyo. Now his restaurant is in Yoyogi Uehara in Tokyo. That's the best.
What is the best trip you have taken so far?
Best trip? Maybe trip to Spain, maybe. Spain is the best place for me, at least to enjoy the city.
How many times have you been there?
3 times maybe.
So you remember the first time the most, or you remember third time the most?
Because my first time was my honeymoon, so that's why I remember that.
Yeah. Okay, great. Now, any wish list?
Wish list?
Now time is up. So.
Wish list. Anyway,
Prime Minister or sumo wrestler?
Yes. That's not possible. That unfortunately.
No, Prime Minister is
still, yes, but probably not. Not from now. Lots of things, but anyway, I want to try something new always. So that's all in my wish list, probably. For instance, like skateboarding, maybe, for instance.
Okay. Last questions of today. If you were not an academician, what you would have been?
Probably fisherman.
Great. With this, you know that in India we love fish is very good omen. If you want to go for a very good work and we want success, we want to see fish from the home and go. Of course, we want to eat fish also and then go. And our conversation ended with fish. So thank you very much for sparing the time. And it is always interesting to know you. And sometimes I wonder that how do you think so objectively and so free of stream? There is no attachment. I mean, like many answers were like that. What if there is no work? You say, what if things do not work? Forget it. How to handle the pressure? Please do it. And so thank you very much. I believe that a lot of learnings are there. And for me, always talking to you is a great pleasure and honor. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Kumar-san. Yes. I really enjoyed the time and this opportunity. And you are very, very excellent interviewer. So that's why I could enjoy the time a lot. So yes, I'm looking forward to some other chance for you to talk in person.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mata.
See you then.